Hello and welcome back. So I've gathered up all of the issues and feedback from our internal testing, and I want to show you what we have to fix with our app before we can submit it to Apple for review. And I've also read your comments in the last vlog where I asked for some advice about scroll direction. So I want to go through that as well. By the way, thank you for commenting. But before we dive in, I want to just let you know, in case you're new here, this is a raw and unscripted video series chronicling our team's journey in building apps for profit. This entry is dated April 23rd, 2024. With that said, I hope you enjoy. Hello, welcome back. Thank you everyone who commented in the last vlog where I was looking for some advice. Just for context, in case you didn't watch the previous one, this is what I asked. In this entry log here, it's in chronological order. Which way should you scroll to see previous entries? Should the most recent entry be at the top of the list or at the bottom of the list? Right. And the reason I struggled with this is because the way that it felt natural, I felt like the most recent one should be at the top and these ones below it should be older ones. But that is opposite of a calendar where future dates should be at the bottom and you're scrolling to see the future. So the calendar, I had this flipped around because when you're reading a calendar, April 30th, when you go to the right, this should be May 1st, not March 1st. So for the calendar, this felt really wrong. And so I'm going to flip this around. But on a list, it's opposite. And that's exactly what everyone touched on in the comments here. So let me just read some of it. Most recent at the top and the past scrolling down feels more natural. Great video for sure. It helps. Thank you so much. It's the difference between chronological order and a to-do list mentality. If it was to-do list, then most critical things at top. If you're dealing with chronological, I think the latest thing should be at the bottom as long as you don't have to scroll to find it. Here, I agree with what you said about the calendar. It should move to the next month as you scroll down. As you scroll down, you're looking at the future dates. This paragraph is about the padding of the date or the entry field. I think I'll take this into consideration. I'm not going to read it right now because it doesn't pertain to the list scrolling, but thank you so much for commenting about that because I really value everyone's input. That's how we're going to make a stronger product. And that's part of the great reason to share these vlogs, that I can hear all your input before I actually have to release it. So thank you for talking about the padding. I will read that and consider that. On the log screen, the historical entry date should be below the current date. So it's almost like a log of your account purchases or in a bank statement. If you imagine a bank statement, I think the most recent ones are always at the top. And as you're scrolling down, you're seeing older purchases, like on a credit card statement, for example. So it's the opposite of both elements, what you currently have. Yeah. And how do you design yourself an app icon? Any tutorials? You know what? There are a lot of cool tools, AI-based tools where you can generate app icons. I would take a look into that and see what you get. It's hit or miss, but I would take a stab at that just because sometimes you might get a quick win. Add the ability to log multiple moods per day. You can actually do this. First, thank you. Code, please. Yeah, I don't think I'll be sharing the code for this particular app because we're going to be submitting this, but I might show how to do something similar. And I am recording a different app series. I released a poll recently on the YouTube channel about what type of app you want me to build and do a tutorial series on, and a YouTube API app was the winner. So I'm building that right now. I'm going to be recording that, and I'll definitely give you the code for that. Okay, so in conclusion, based off of your comments and how I feel, I think I'm going to fix the calendar so that as you scroll down, you're seeing future months. So this would be May 1st and then June 1st and so on. And then on the list entry, the log of entries, it's going to be the opposite way. So the most recent thing is going to be at the top, and then you're going to be scrolling down to see previous dates. And that feels the most natural to me, as most of you have touched upon. And then you wouldn't be able to see future dates. This doesn't make sense. You shouldn't be able to see entries for future dates or log entries for future dates. So now I want to take a look at some of the test flight entries. As I mentioned in the previous video right here, we're doing internal testing through TestFlight. And in case you don't know what that is, it's where you distribute your app to people, and they can beta test your app and they can submit feedback to you. And it looks like this. So inside App Store Connect, this is where you manage your App Store listings. We had a whole bunch of feedback. What I've done, I've taken all of them except these two, because I don't think we're going to work on these two. But I've taken all of them and I have gone into our project tracker and I have logged the items in the backlog for us to work on. So I want to go through some of these things with you. So the good news is that none of these items are really big issues to fix. I think they're all very small, some mostly cosmetic type of things. Let's take a look. So in dark mode testing, when I showed you in the simulator, it was only in light mode or natural mode, the default mode. But when your phone is on dark mode, it makes our titles unreadable. This screen is messed up, the settings screen here. You know, again, the titles, these pills are really hard to read. So this is just a color tweak. Like I can't even read that text field. So that's that. Apostrophes, this is where we have /s instead of apostrophes all over the app. So that needs to be fixed. Let's see what here. One word is that we're using Monday as our project management tool. It doesn't really matter what you use to track all of your issues and bugs. So this is not a recommendation to use Monday for this sort of stuff. Filter button does nothing, so we're going to remove it. That's a phase 2 type thing. Calendar direction, we talked about this. Future dates was not to show. We don't need to show future dates. It doesn't really make sense. Custom entry error checking. So this is a big deal actually. So we have the ability for people to enter custom mood, custom weather, custom anything. And I was able to enter like blank text. So spaces essentially. So we need to do some error checking on that. And this button, back to today, there's supposed to be a green pill right here. It says back to today. Let me see if I can, yeah, it's not exactly working. But sometimes it shows up. I don't know when exactly it shows up, but because you can get lost while scrolling, there is a green button here that should take you back to today. Okay, swipe down confirmation. So this one was when you're logging your mood, we implemented it as a slide up sheet. Let me see if I can show you. So when you click this button, it slides up. If I'm logging my mood right here like this, I've made some selections. If I swipe down, I lose all my work. It's gone. So I think we should add a dialogue to capture that event just to ensure that they know they're about to lose their work. So this one is about Apple guidelines. Destructive things should be red. Save and exit, that's not destructive. Usually delete, discard, that's destructive and that should be red. So this should not be red. Don't show scroll bar. This is just one thing which popped up there. That shouldn't be a scroll bar. And to implement analytics. So we haven't done that. We definitely should implement analytics, even if it is a first iteration. So that's it. And it's a pretty small feature set, so there weren't too many things to nitpick on. I think after this, we are ready to submit the app. So we're targeting, actually I'm still waiting on estimations, but I don't think this should take more than, hopefully we submit this next week at some point. That's my hope. So that's where we're at right now. Again, thank you so much if you've been watching and following along on this journey. It's been quite a ride so far, but it doesn't stop after we submit this and get it reviewed and publish it, because from then on, we have to worry about marketing the app and getting users and reading their feedback and things like that. And we're continually going to improve the app. And in the meantime, we're also going to think about the next app idea and work on the next thing. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next vlog.